Jericho Appreciation Society. For over 5 weeks, the recognized symbol of excellence of sports entertainers.
Introducing the next competitor, Ryan Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Alright, man. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, I'll be talking about the whole CM Punk situation, the post-medium scrum for AEW All Out, and the Backstage Brawl with Punk and the Elite and everybody else that was involved. Now, man, dude, oh man, the whole situation, man, it was so unprofessional, man. It was not right. It was not good. It was not good. Punk didn't look good. Punk didn't make himself look good. He made himself look bad. He made the company look bad. Dude, the whole point of the post-medium scrum was to talk about AEW All Out and what happened in your match. In the post-medium scrum, you want to talk about Colt Cabana. Like, dude, nobody asked about Colt Cabana. Nobody asked about Colt Cabana. Like, as soon as somebody even got a question out, if you go back and watch it, CM Punk, he pointed out that a news journalist that he's familiar with, and so he had asked him about improv and all that stuff. Who do you learn improv from, or something like that? He said, and then he said Scott Colton, who is Colt Cabana, and Punk was like, well, will you say you friends with this Scott Colton? Would you say that you're friends with Scott Colton? And then the guy said, well, I haven't talked to him in years. And then Punk, he was like, well, that makes two of us then. And so from that, he started talking about Colt Cabana, just started trashing that dude. And then he started talking about, he went from Colt Cabana and he started talking about Hangman Adam Page. And then he started talking about the Bucks and Kenny Omega and all that stuff. And then, he wouldn't even leave it alone. He just kept talking about them the whole entire time. He didn't say nothing about MJF. He only said one thing about MJF, and that was it. That was it. MJF. But the main thing that he was talking about is freaking Colt Cabana, Hangman Adam Page, and the Bucks and Kenny Omega. That's all he was talking about. And he wouldn't even leave it alone. He wouldn't leave it alone. He wouldn't talk about nothing else. Well, he did talk about the muffins that he was eating at the post medium scrum. He did talk about that stuff. Like, dude. And then Tony Khan is sitting right next to him, dude, listening to all this stuff. And Tony Khan, you gotta blame him too. You gotta blame Punk. Punk was in the wrong, and Tony Khan was in the wrong. You gotta blame Tony Khan for allowing that stuff to happen and not leading these people properly. If he would have been a great leader, a better enough leader, then none of that stuff would have happened. And Punk, unprofessional, calling all these people out at a post-medium scrum, talking all that stuff at a post-medium scrum. The reason why he's mad with Hangman Adam Page is because Page, they had a promo a while ago when they were feuding for the title. Page, he talked about workers' right and all that stuff. Punk, you want to talk about workers' rights, but you done the exact opposite ever since you got here and all that stuff, and so that pissed Punk off. Punk did end up getting back at Page by calling him out on that one Dynamite when, I think that's the promo, when Punk had called him out and Page wasn't even scheduled to come out, which made him look like a wuss, because he didn't come out and challenge Punk and all that. So that was his revenge. And now he want to go back and talk about Page, calling him, a dumb MFer. Dude, the dude was dropping F-bombs. I don't know why that dude's still angry about all this stuff. Like, dude, he's upset when Hangman Adam Page because he went off of the script. This is the same guy that said that WWE would be better off when Vince McMahon dies. That's the same person that said that. And then, he got upset with Page not taking veterans' advice or something like that. Page, he has said he's more of a trial and error guy. He wants to learn on his own. He want to make his own mistakes and all that stuff. And so Punk got mad at that too. But yeah, now with the Bucks situation, the reason why he's mad at the Bucks and Kenny Omega is because he believes that they leaked information about him getting Colt Cabana fired from AEW, and so Punk said it wasn't true. He didn't get him fired. Who knows? Did he get him fired? I don't know. Yes or no? I don't know. In the post-medium scrum, Punk, the reason why the fight happened is because he asked for it. He called them out. If you go back and watch it, he called them out. He said that, oh, if you got a problem with it, and I'm going to say it again, you guys have a problem with it? Like, dude, I'm not hard to find. Find me. Talk to me. Find me. Like, dude, he called them out. We all knew what he meant. We all knew what he meant when he said that. Well, I don't know why he said all that stuff and not expected some repercussions after that. But yeah, the backstage brawl happened. Ace Steel got involved in it. The Bucks and Kenny Omega got involved. Brandon Cutler got involved. Brandon Cutler, Michael Nakazawa, and Pat Buck and Christopher Daniels, and they got suspended. Everybody got suspended. We did find out on Dynamite that the championships got stripped. It's vacated, so no AEW World Champion and no Trios Champions. The Death Triangle won those Trios Tag Team titles. On the AEW World Championship side, we have a tournament. We have a tournament of champions, and a new champion will be crowned on the September, I think, the 25th episode. September the 27th, or the September the 28th, or something like that, or September the 21st. Somewhere in September, we're going to crown a new AEW World Champion. But, yeah, that's the thing, dude. We just crowned a new champion. The first time Punk won the championship, he got hurt. And so we had to get a new interim champion. And so Jon Moxley became the interim champion. And then when Punk came back, Punk and Moxley had a match on Dynamite. And so Moxley won the championship, which made him the real champion and the undisputed AEW champion. And then when All Out happened, CM Punk won the championship back. He won the AEW World Championship back. And now he's vacated. He's stripped from the championship. And he's hurt. And he's hurt too, man. And he's hurt. There were reports saying that he got hurt in the match. His triceps. I think it was his left tricep that got torn. Dude, that dude cannot catch a break, man. He cannot catch a break with those championship reigns. His first championship reign was crap, and his second reign as champion was crap. He made everything about himself in that post-medium scrum. Because, look at it. Who is everybody talking about at All Out? They're not talking about MJF. They're not talking about Jon Moxley. They're not talking about the AEW World Championship. They're not talking about the Trios Championships. They're not talking about any other match that happened on AEW All Out. They're talking about CM Punk and his post-medium scrum stuff. His post-media scrum stuff and his backstage fight. That's all they're talking about. They're not talking about MJF. And MJF returning to AEW All Out, that was a big deal, man. That was a big freaking deal. And he had one of the biggest pops on that show. And people are not talking about him. Because Punk, he want to make everything about himself. And talk about Colt Cabana and Hangman Adam Page and all these other guys. I understand bad stuff happened to this guy. I understand that. What happened to him in WWE, that was some messed up stuff, bro. But, dude, that happened almost 10 years ago. You gotta learn how to move on, man. You gotta learn how to let stuff go. Stop holding grudges, man. And that's his problem. He holds too many damn grudges. That's why he is what he is. You hold a grudge, you gotta try to forgive people, man. You gotta forgive people, man. Tony Khan just sat there and drank his water, man. He just sat there and drank his water. He didn't do nothing about it. He tried to speak. He tried to speak at first, but Punk kept cutting him off. Let's talk about the fight that happened backstage. There are two different sides of the story. So this is one side of the story. So I'm reading this off of Cage Side Seats, and this was posted on the 8th. Over the past couple of nights, Fightful Select has published accounts of the fight, which took place backstage at the Now Arena in the early morning hours of Monday, September the 5th. Descriptions of what happened between Punk and Ace Steel and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega backstage after Punk's fiery speech at the post-media scrum come from people close to the men of each side of the brawl. So this is Punk's and Ace Steel's version. The Young Bucks went into Punk's locker room after he finished at the presser. He didn't answer when they knocked, as he was wiped out from his match with Jon Moxley during the pay-per-view and the emotional scrum, quote-unquote emotional scrum. So Matt and Nick Jackson pounded on the door and eventually kicked down the door. Ace Steel's wife was in the room, according to Wrestling Observer. Mrs. Steel had a broken foot and was watching Punk's dog Larry. The dog Larry, he is a key part of the story. Concern for his wife is what set Steel off, reportedly throwing a chair at Nick and biting Kenny Omega. So yeah, the chair part was a part of both stories. Interestingly, Fightful's write-up of this side does say that Omega was initially calm until things got out of hand. The entire scene was very long and included a heated verbal exchange even after the men were physically separated. The Elite's version, the Bucks went to talk to Punk just like he told them to. Just like he said that in a post medium scrum, if you got a problem, come see me, come talk to me. The Bucks and Kenny Omega went to go talk to Punk, just like what he said. They didn't barge in, but as soon as they entered the room, before anyone said a word, Punk threw punches aimed for Matt Jackson's head. Nick tried to intervene, which is when Steele threw the chair at him, hitting the younger Buck in the head. And so Omega, he's also calm in this account, and it was said to be primarily be worried about Larry, who is agitated and barking. Kenny took Punk's dog out of the room and tried to get Steele off of Nick, which is when Ace Steele pulled his hair out and bit him. And so this telling of events agrees that the war of words continued after the violence ended, but claims Punk repeatedly threatened legal action during the shouting portion of the fight. Yeah, dude, that's crazy, man. Punk, he caused all this stuff. Dude, he was the one that called him out. So this is Punk's update, his status. There is an update on CM Punk's status with AEW. Punk found himself in hot water during the all-out post-medium scrum, a post-show scrum. He fired shots at Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks. He also threw shade at Hangman Adam Page over a face-to-face promo back in May, in which Punk said Page went off script. Things went from bad to worse when Punk got into the locker room. The former AEW World Champion ended up getting into a fight with the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega and Ace Steel were also involved. On top of that, Punk had suffered an injury during his AEW World Championship match with Jon Moxley. Dude, that was another report said that he got injured during a fight. Whoever said he got injured in the fight, yeah, that's not right. Dave Meltzer, he reports that Punk suffered a torn left triceps when he did a tope. It is unknown at this time if Punk has to undergo surgery. In addition, the belief is that Punk has been suspended as a result of the Backstage Brawl. There was no mention of Punk or the Elite during the September 7th episode of Dynamite. The word going around is that Omega, Nick, and Mac Jackson, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, and Pat Buck have been suspended. The statuses of Punk and Steel hadn't been made clear. A report from Sports Illustrated claimed that Punk and Steel will either be fired or suspended. They are not getting fired. Punk is not getting fired. AEW President Tony Khan made the decision to vacate the AEW World Championship and the AEW World Trios Championships. The new AEW World Trios Champions are the Death Triangle. They beat the Best Friends on Dynamite, Best Friends and Orange Cassidy on Dynamite. As for the World Championship, the tournament is being held with the winner being recognized as the new title holder. The finals will be held on Dynamite Grand Slam on September the 21st. Why would he say all that stuff and not expect no repercussions after that? And dude, I don't even know why he complaining. I don't even know why he complaining either. Dude won the AEW World Championship in a main event in his hometown. So I don't know why he's still complaining about that stuff. About something that happened 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. Just like what I said earlier, dude. Dude don't know how to let stuff go. You don't know how to let stuff go. And that's his problem. Yeah, Punk, he did not come off good. And just like what I said earlier, he made himself look bad. He made the company look bad. This dude, he's the world champion, which means he's the leader. He's the leader of the company. He's the face of the company. And he just made the whole company look bad by saying what he said and doing what he did. And Tony Khan is to blame too. He was sitting right next to him, listening to this dude talk and not doing nothing about it. Dude, they let these people do whatever they want. Yeah, and then another thing about the promo, the off-scripted promo with Hangman Adam Page. Like, dude, how you gonna get mad at somebody for going off script when y'all don't even do scripted promos? Y'all don't have scripted promos, so how you gonna get mad at him for going off a script? It don't make no sense, dude. The same thing happened with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara, but the Punk stuff was worse than that. Sammy, he did a promo on Eddie Kingston, and so Sammy, he had called Eddie Kingston fat. He had called him fat, and so Eddie Kingston, he didn't like that. He was upset about that, and so he went backstage and he was calling Sammy out, saying that you can't say that about me, you can't say that. And then he tried to pop face him. And so Sammy, he tried to avoid this situation. And Eddie Kingston, he tried to put his hands on Sammy. So that's why Kingston got suspended and Sammy didn't. Because Sammy, he tried to avoid the situation. And Eddie Kingston, he put his hands on that dude. They need to get their house in order, man. They really do. You can't have that stuff happening, dude, in your company. Go back and watch that stuff. Tony Khan, he looked uncomfortable the entire time. He was sitting there drinking his water bottle. it only got a few words out. this whole thing was ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. And dude, and that whole thing, the whole CM Punk stuff, it took away from the whole show. It took away from the whole AEW All Out show. Nobody talking about MJF. Nobody talking about the John Moxley or anything else that happened on that show. They're talking about CM Punk. CM Punk and his backstage fight. That's all they talking about in a post-medium scrum speech, fiery speech. That's all they talking about. Because again, Punk, he made it about himself. Instead of focusing on what makes him happy, he want to focus on stuff that happened freaking years ago. And yeah, that's all what he talked about the entire time. He kept talking about Colt Cabana, and then he stopped talking about Colt Cabana, and he kept going back to the Colt Cabana stuff. Like, dude, leave it alone, man. Like, leave it alone. That even proves my next point. The match never should have happened on Dynamite. It never should have happened on Dynamite. They should have saved it for All Out. Moxley beat Punk, and then when All Out happened, Punk won the championship back. And so I was like, man, what was the point of taking the championship off of Punk on Dynamite, only to put it back on him on All Out? And then he got hurt in the match, and now he had to vacate his championship because he got in a fight backstage. And I was like, man, they should have kept it on Moxley. They should have kept it on Moxley. But I understood the story. The story was between Punk and MJF. But Punk went on ahead and ruined it by bringing up stuff that happened 10 years ago. Being bitter, not moving on, holding grudges. This is what he should have done. He should have talked about John Moxley and the AEW World Championship. He should have talked about MJF. But no, he want to talk about Colt Cabana and Hangman Adam Page and the Elite. Yeah, the whole entire time. Dude, the championships in AEW, they are cursed, man. They are freaking cursed. We had an interim TNT champion. We had an interim AEW champion, AEW World Champion. We had an interim women's champion. How many times are they gonna strip these people of these championships? How many times are they gonna get interim champions? Yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts about CM Punk. It really could have been avoided. The first person that Punk talked to, he didn't even get a chance to ask a question. And he pointed that dude out. And then he went on a whole tirade from the start all the way to the finish. I was like, man, how you went from Colt Cabana to Hangman Adam Page to the freaking Bucks and Kenny Omega? That's what I want to know. I was like, man, this dude, I don't know. Something wrong with him, man. Something wrong with CM Punk. And dude, I'm a fan of CM Punk. I really am. I've always been a fan of CM Punk. I was happy that he came back to professional wrestling. After being gone for 7 years, I was happy that he came back to pro wrestling. And now to see him a year later, man, oh, dude, it is bad, dude. It is not good. It is not good. But yep, that's all I gotta say about CM Punk. I'm getting sick and tired of talking about it. If you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, if you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show for the first time ever, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. Because I'm here each and every single week. Follow me on Facebook at Ryan Awesome Show. Don't follow me on Twitter. Twitter sucks. I don't even use Twitter. I just like and retweet on Twitter. I don't really tweet. It sucks. Yeah, follow me on Facebook at Ryan Awesome Show. Or you could just type in Ryan Awesome in the search engine. You'll see it. You'll see the icon. So click on the icon and click that follow button or like button, whatever. And yeah, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. And once again, guys, thank you for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And yeah, this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.